Hey everybody, welcome to this channel. So I'm setting up a reading journal for the first time ever. I've seen other people do this and I really like the idea of having a physical copy of a journal instead of just using like my Goodreads to leave reviews and stuff, because I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I read books and like 6 months later, I kind of forget like what it was about, especially if I've read other books in between or if I've watched a lot of TV shows. So I thought this year it'd be fun to have like a physical way of tracking my reading. 2023 is also a year I really want to focus on reading more. So I decided with the remaining part of my like full bullet journal from 2022, I figured I would just use the rest of it that's left over to do a reading journal. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm setting up my cover page. I don't think a cover page is necessary for a reading journal necessarily, but since I'm using an old bullet journal, I figured I wanted something to separate the spaces a little bit more so for me and like my mindset. So I'm basically doing this like scrapbooking style, and I'm going for like greens and grays and like neutral kind of cottagey core kind of things. That's what I was thinking in my head I was doing. So I put down like these gray concrete looking scraps of paper, put some plants over the top of it, and then wrote 2023 on the top with a gray Tombow Futunesco pen, one of the paint pens, and then put my stamps and wrote reading journal with my stamps. So really easy, just kind of wanted a separation between my old bullet journal and my new reading journal. And now we're gonna get into like the annual setup kind of things. Oh, and if you're curious about any of the supplies, most of my supplies I either got at Hobby Lobby or off of Amazon. If there's anything I can find and link, I will link it down below for you. But those are the two places where I've been getting all of my scrapbooking, kind of planning stuff lately. So I will link anything that I can for you. And I'm sorry about the lighting and angle change. I had to do these over the course of like 3 days. So the lighting will change a bit throughout the video. But anyways, after I did my cover page, I decided to do an index page so I can fill out what pages everything is going to be on, especially once I start doing book reviews. For all of the books that I'm reading, I figured it'd be easier to look back on if I have little pages for it. Just making a really simple layout for the index. I'm just gonna write out 1 through I think like 30 something on this one to get started. I don't know how many books I'll actually end up reading this year, or how little or anything, or how many pages I'll end up like writing about each book. So I figured this would be the best way to kind of keep track of it. Again, just using my stamps and a bunch of scrap paper to just kind of put stuff down, and make headers and everything. Since this is my first reading journal, I wanted to do it as simple as possible as well and not like overcomplicate things and stress myself out, because really the ultimate goal is just for me to read more this year. So I didn't want to like overcomplicate the spreads and everything, especially didn't want to put in effort to something that I wasn't 100% sure if it's going to be something I like. And since I've never done it before, I don't really know what I'm looking for either as far as what I'm going to put. So this is all like an experiment, which I think is really fun and exciting. It's fun to do new things and try different techniques and things like that. After I finish my index, I move on to creating my reading goals like spread. Ultimately this year, my major goal is to read 23 books. I figured for 2023, try to aim for 23. To be honest, the last couple of years, I haven't read even more than 10. I just haven't. I've been in a big reading slump. I was doing pretty good here towards the end of 2021, and then I picked a book and I didn't vibe with the book at all, and I put it down, and it just put me back into a reading rut. So that hasn't been fun. But like I know next year I'm gonna be rereading like the Harry Potter series. That's 7 books right there. And I have a pretty big TBR right now of books that I've just been collecting that I would like to get through. So I think 23 is doable if I can really focus on it next year. And since I want to focus on growing this channel, I think it is an achievable goal as long as I can make time. So on this page, I'm just drawing little boxes, and when I finish a book, I'll color in the box. And the boxes are all different shapes. I thought it was more fun that way. I thought about making them uniform, but I decided to go with like this alternating shape for every single one just to make it look a little bit more interesting. Maybe I would have liked it more if it was uniform, but I kind of like the mismatched shapes. So I think I skipped filming a little bit here in a minute on the boxes because it took me a while to just do the boxes and put the numbers in. So I think I do end up skipping some time eventually and jumping on to the next one. And since I only have a goal of 23, I drew 24 boxes just to give myself, if I read any extra. I highly doubt I will read extra, but just in case I do achieve higher than my goal, I was like, I'll give myself a little leeway. And so I ended up doing 24 boxes. And then under the boxes, since the boxes don't fill up both pages, under the boxes I end up drawing little shelves with books on it. That way not only can I color in the squares once I finish a book, I can write in the title of the book. And then that way I kind of have everything on one spread to see which books I read in which order and all of that. And obviously I'll have some reviews in the notebook as well of books that I've read. I probably won't write like page spreads for every single book I read. I'll probably do little like blurbs, like little tiny squares for some of them, especially books I'm rereading this year. Probably won't do full page reviews. So this is a good way for me to kind of look back and be like, okay, this is what I read first, and the order of which I read things, which I think will be really cool. So just drawing I think I drew 24 books on these little shelves. Just really simple shapes, that way I can write in the name and color those in as I read as well. And I have 2 blank shelves on that spread too, again, just giving myself leeway if I end up reading more than my goal. And again, I've kept all of these spreads really simple, using the same washi tape on all of them, which again I will link down below if I can. I think it came off of Amazon, and using just some scrapbooking paper that I found off of Amazon. I'm just gluing it down, which by the way, I ran out of my glue stick like halfway through creating all of these, which was really upsetting. I ordered new glue, it hasn't come in yet, so I haven't been able to do any more, but I went through so much glue for these spreads. I'm putting down some stickers, and then I'm just going to put stamps. I keep debating on writing everything, but I like stamps. This is my anticipated releases. I actually don't end up liking the spread because I didn't measure things correctly, so it kind of looks a little wonky. I do a square for the majority of the year. I went January through September, I think. Oh no, I did the whole year on this one. I wrote squares for every single month in the year, and I'm going to write down when books are coming out in those given months, if there is something that's coming out. I'm not very good at keeping up with stuff like that, but I'm going to try to be a little bit better. And as you can see, I misspelled releases. I was like putting down stamps and I was like, this looks wrong, and I looked it up. Yeah, I can't spell, apparently. So I tried to correct it by just like putting the L where it was supposed to go, and it looks a little funny, but I'm not trying to be too perfect on these spreads. And this one ends up being all kinds of over the place, so kind of works. It's like chaotic energy on this whole spread. And this is where I feel like I messed up. I originally was just not going to draw boxes around anything, and then I was like, oh, I'll do alternating rows for boxes, but then I didn't have everything lined up correctly, so I was like, oh, never mind, I'll just do boxes around all of them, but because they're not lined up, they kind of look funny. It's all over the place. This is a chaotic spread. Not my favorite, not my best work, but it will work for what I need it for. And then after that, I think I do move on to my TBR, using again the same green washi tape and the green checkered washi tape to just kind of border everything and kind of give a cohesive feel to the beginning of this notebook. Put those down, and then I think I take a little sticker that's a like clipboard, or no, what is this one? Oh, this is my book recommendations. I can't remember what order my spreads go in. I just want to put my TBR in, apparently. So this is going to be book recommendations. So if anyone recommends me a book, I'll write it down here. Probably don't need 2 pages for that, but really easy. Bordered with washi tape, stamped recommendations, and then I just number everything. And then finally, after my book recommendations page, this is my TBR. This is where I'll be writing everything that I want to read, probably in the order of which I want to read it. And of course it will move, it will be tentative and all of that. But putting on paper, putting on the same washi tape, and just kind of trying to make a cute little like cottagecore looking kind of page. I like these stickers that are little clipboards. I put down a clipboard and then stamp TBR onto it, and I think it's really cute. And then after that, I just number the lines that I want to write the TBR on. So this will also help me with videos when I film my TBRs. So I really like this page. I like having one of these just to kind of look and see what I am generally thinking about reading. And then after that, this is going to be my like year at a review kind of page. Or like my reading review, I guess. So I'm numbering 1 to 31 for every day in a month. I'm going to put a square around this, and then I'm going to put a column for every month. I could only fit until September on this because I didn't measure again correctly. But I probably would fill this by September anyways. So I do January through September. They're all going to have columns up to how many days are in each month, and every day that I read, I will color in a box. And then this way, this kind of guarantees that I'm reading more often. I'm going to be trying to read for like 10 to 20 minutes at a minimum every single day. So this is how I'm going to keep track on if I'm reading or not. And then we can generally look back on this and see how I'm doing, how I'm keeping up with all of my reading. So I like this. I saw someone else put this in their bullet journal, and I liked the idea of having one of these. So I don't finish this on camera for you guys, but I do the first like couple of columns so you can kind of get an idea of what this is. And then really simply, I put just washi tape on the sides to kind of create a border. And then I put the title on it as well. And again, finishing out those first few columns, just columns again up to the days of the day in the month, and then little boxes for every single day, and they'll be colored in as I read, which I think I might be the most excited about this spread. I just kind of want to see what happens, like if I'm able to keep up with the reading, and if I get in a rut, like how long does it generally last, and stuff like that. I think I'm going to be really excited to look back on this one at the end of the year. And then I think this is the last spread that I do. This is going to be like my year in review kind of spread. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put every single month, or up every month until September, January through September. And I'm going to track how many pages I read, how many books I read, what genre I read, and the star rating of each of those books. That way I can kind of see where I'm leaning, how much I'm actually doing. Months are better. It's just good stats. I like stats. I like looking at things. If you guys are familiar with my other channel, you know I generally like numbers and things like this. So that's what this page is going to be. I think this is also going to be a ton of fun to look at the end of the year. And I'm excited. I hope all of these spreads kind of help me stay motivated and keep reading this month and just have more fun reading again. I miss having reading as a hobby. I don't know if a lot of you guys know, but I have like an English degree, and I think ever since college, reading started feeling more like a chore and like something I had to do, and it took me a really long time to like go back to it as a hobby. And even now, still, I have a hard time sometimes, like just casually reading. It's still kind of hard for me, but I'm excited. I think this year, kind of giving myself a goal of more casual reading and just getting through books for enjoyment again will be fun. Because before I went to college, like I would read so much. I was reading like hundreds of books in a year. I think the most I ever read was like 200 something books in one year when I was younger, and I just remember feeling so accomplished, and it was fun. Like I enjoyed every single bit of it. And I don't think I'll ever have time to read that much again because, like, obviously I didn't have as many responsibilities, but I would love to be able to read like 20 or more books in a year. At least, I think at a minimum, if I can read one book a month, I'd be happy at this point, but I would love to read more. I love reading. I love the escape of it. I love how it like stimulates my brain, and I'm just really looking forward to reading. So we're going through now. This is the overview of my entire beginning part of my reading journal, and I'm hoping this works out. Like I said, I've never done this before, so this is all kind of an experiment to me, kind of seeing what will work and if it keeps me motivated or not. But I hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know if you are creating a reading journal this year or if you have a reading goal for 2023. Let me know, and definitely hit the subscribe button, guys. I am trying to grow this channel this year, and I will be uploading all of my bullet journal and reading content onto this channel. So I'm very, very excited. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all have an amazing start to 2023, and I will see you guys in the next video.